Welcome back. 10 minutes before the hour. Thom Hartmann here with you. One of the things that I mentioned when I was going off on the EU and the Eurozone was, if any of you out there know more about it than I do, feel free to call, because I am so pleased to host a show that has the smartest listeners on earth. And Eric in Salt Lake City, Utah. Eric, you lived and worked in the UK?
Yeah, well, I wasn't really working per se in the UK. I was working. I was doing some work for a humanitarian and political activity thing going on for the DR Congo, and most of my time was in the UK, as well as a little time in France.
Okay. What are your thoughts on the European Union, the Eurozone, and the Brexit?
Okay, so I was working. I had the opportunity to get close to some Parliament guys in England, and this is my thing. I'm very progressive. I'm very far to the left, and I think the European Union and the Eurozone, in theory, is good. It's a good idea, but I think it was hijacked by corporatists. And I think it was made by corporatists in the first place, especially American corporatists, because what you see is American corporations trying to move in there, especially your agriculture and food production, trying to get in there, and that made it easy for them. As well as the European Central Bank is pretty much the authority in the European Union and the Eurozone.
Right.
They kind of make all the decisions for the countries. So I think England exiting, or the UK exiting, is actually beneficial for workers there, for the workers in England, because they're the ones that are being really messed over by this whole thing.
Yeah, I agree.
All workers in Europe are being kind of screwed over. Yeah.
Well, arguably, other than those in the very poor countries who can go to a wealthier country and send money home. But I agree with you, Eric. And I watched a video this morning of Jeremy Corbyn, who's the new leader of Labour. He's the left. He's the leader of the lefties in the UK. And he's saying, don't do the Brexit, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, isn't there a left-wing case to be made for Brexit? You don't have to be a right-wing nationalist racist to say that you want to have your country back, basically, and have a border that is enforceable. It seems like the simple economic argument that you make, Eric.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too, is because he doesn't want to have any type of similarities with the right at all. So I think that's why he's doing that. But I think on this one, he's got to see that it's just bad. It's like, to me, it was like if he took all the illegal immigrants and just gave them all citizenship tomorrow. Because right now, companies are illegally hiring them, right? But if you made it legal for them to be hired, and there was no minimum wage for them, companies could give them whatever wage they wanted. It would completely disenfranchise workers.
Well, that's the circumstance right now. Is that you've got people in this country who are here without documentation, and so they're being exploited by their employers. I get your analogy. I think it's only halfway there, though. I think the better analogy would be to say, okay, right now we've got 11 million people in the United States who we basically weren't planning for when our economy was put together and managed, and which has had a somewhat depressing effect on wages, in large part because they're in the shadows and they're easily exploited. If they became citizens tomorrow morning, and this is an argument in favor of comprehensive immigration reform, they would then qualify for workplace protections and at least a minimum wage, and that would raise wages slightly here in the United States. But if we wanted to complete the analogy between the United States, U.S., Mexico, and the European Union, it would be, we're going to do away with the border between the United States and Mexico altogether, and anybody from Mexico who wants to come to the United States and compete with any American for any job at any wage level above the minimum wage can do so. And at that point, instead of 11 million people here, you'd have 60 million people here, and you would have a real substantial crash in wages. And frankly, I'm surprised that there's not more discussion in the European press about that sort of thing happening, unless there's some sort of flywheel mechanism, some sort of mechanism that I'm unaware of that prevents that from happening. Are you aware of any, Eric?
Yeah, actually, okay. So basically, there's two different minimum wages in England. If you're a UK citizen, and see, this is where it's weird. It's like, so UK has special immigration policies with certain countries that used to be colonies, like Jamaica, Bahamas, what have you. So these guys will come over and they get they basically get a highway pass to citizenship. Okay, and native Englanders have no problem with these people, which is really interesting. But they have a problem with Polish, with this a lot of Spanish people from Spain, Portugal coming in, because they have different ways. The rules for the Eurozone for them are different for Englanders, for people with UK citizenship. So companies are legally allowed to pay them less than they are people of UK citizenship. Which completely undermines. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, this is neoliberalism. This is neoliberalism. This is Reaganomics, Thatcheronomics, DLConomics, third way stuff.
Exactly, because it's completely funding the people at the top are making huge profits.
Sure.
Especially in London. London is because London is such a high cost of living.
Yeah.
But they're doing these housing. You got to watch RT. Do you watch the RT London?
I occasionally. I don't watch much television in general, but I know RT has done some pretty good reporting on this. Over the years. That guy on that I forget his name that does the economy stuff. Economic. Oh, Max Kaiser. Kaiser, exactly. Yeah, Kaiser Max and Stacy. Over perfect. Yeah, I had Louise and I had dinner with them. In fact, in December. They're fascinating people. Eric, thank you for the call, and thanks for the information and for the thoughtful analysis. I appreciate it. And thanks for listening to SiriusXM.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here, and please be sure to hit the handy dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.